Hey guys, welcome to Believe in Eagles. I'm your host, Lee Mayock, and as always, this show is brought to you by Bet Online. Bet Online's my favorite spot for sports betting. I know I'm new to this, but I gotta tell you, I was 4 for 4 with my Eagles picks last week. It's 1000% beginner's luck, but you might as well jump aboard with me. I'm gonna do picks this weekend. Head to Bet Online website and get those picks in. I'll post them on my Instagram. So, all that said, you guys, we are in for such a treat today. Joining us is I know people say I exaggerate and I'm a little dramatic about stuff, but I'm not exaggerating this at all. We have one of the most accomplished sports broadcasters of all time, one of my favorite people. Charles Davis is with us. Charles is on the call for the Eagles versus Bengals game with Ian Eagle and Evan Washburn, 1 p.m. Eastern, Sunday on CBS. But he's making a little time for us today from his absolutely sick home office. Charles, hi. Thank you for being here. Show us this office.
Lee, how you doing? It's so great to see you again. This is so
I
wonderful
know.
because I've had the pleasure of not just knowing you, but working with you over the years and watching you do all the different things you've done in our business and this rise and look at you hosting now. I'm so happy for you. I think it's awesome. And
Thank you, Charles.
have anyone better than you. That's pretty cool. And thanks for the nice things about the office, the whole deal. We moved into this house 13 years ago or whatever. And the people who had built this office. So I thank them each and every day. Thank goodness.
Oh, do you know what kind of was it just like a serious studious office? What did you do to it?
All we did was just kind of move in. The best part was they built a desk that is one of those two-sided ones where one person on one side, the other on the other, and
Mhm.
permanent, really, really nice wood desk. Then you're like, wow, this is pretty awesome. And they put the cabinets in and the shelves and we've just kind of turned it into something that's kind of made it ours, so to speak. And I remember being younger and thinking to myself, I don't know if I want one of those offices that has all my memorabilia in it. Maybe I want one that's a little more sophisticated. And I got older and went, no, I want my memorabilia. I want my man cave. And so I got all my junk in here. So
Wait, it looks
that's
so good. It's decorated so
right out.
well. Wait, what is the neon sign?
The neon sign, that was the team I was on at Tennessee, the Sugar Balls, we were called in 1985 when we won the SEC for the first time in 16 years in Knoxville. And we kind of a little bit of a surprise. And we went to the Sugar Bowl and beat the University of Miami 35-7. So
Woo.
instead, we became the Sugar Balls and we'll be one of those teams they'll remember all the time at Tennessee because it had been a gap since we've
Uh-huh.
been really good. And fortunately, we were able to go in there and help fill the void. And so that's a neon thing, and we're not going to dim the lights and do all that. But
No, yeah, no, we get the vibe and I'm obsessed with it. The sweet sugar balls. Actually they're kind of popping off right now, huh?
yeah, they are, and it's fun to watch. I'm happy for Josh Heupel as our head coach and what the program's doing. But keep an eye on Tim Banks, the defensive coordinator,
Okay.
because that's the group that's leading this team right now. That's the I don't think they've given up 20 points in a game to anyone all year long, even in the loss, to Arkansas. That's been the one constant for that team and has allowed the offense to go through a few bumps and give Tennessee a chance. But we beat Alabama last week. So
I was thinking of you the whole time because it's been a while
when you're
and
involved, it's a big deal.
I remember so many drafts in a row where there were not many Tennessee Volunteers getting drafted and the guys would not let you hear the end of it.
Roast me. Like Appalachian State was getting more and the whole deal, but we are back in the game. Plenty of guys, plenty of prospects out there now again, and it's a whole lot of fun to be back and know that you've got that going on. So I thank my alma mater for giving us that chance to throw our chest out again.
That's awesome. Go Balls. We'll be watching. But so I told my Eagles friends that you'd be on this week and they're so hyped. They are dying to know what you think about this Eagles team because it's interesting with the Eagles and the Bengals this week. They both have recently played the same teams.
Yeah.
Stat padding teams, you might say. So it's hard to see, is it legit? Are they frauds? What's going on? What are you seeing in this Eagles team on both sides of the ball?
Lee, you framed it pretty well. I think all of us are looking at this game to see who comes out of it and reestablishes their bona fides.
Uh-huh.
And reestablishes because in preseason, We all liked Philadelphia. We all liked Cincinnati, and for good reasons. Then Cincinnati does what they normally do, out of the gate slow, went 0-3, which we still can't figure out why this is a yearly thing with them. Philadelphia ran into their bumps, but believe it or not, they're 4-2.
Mhm.
When you can come out 4-2 and you've gone through bumps and it hasn't felt great, and yes, both of them have played Cleveland and the New York Giants in opposite orders over the last 2 weeks. People would call them get right games. Well,
Mhm.
totally get right games. Cincinnati was only up 7-0 at the half in New York. And I think they won like 17-7 or something like that. Cincinnati finally beat Cleveland in Cleveland. Now, for people listening, oh, big deal. Well, guess what? They hadn't beaten Cleveland since 2017 in Cleveland, which in the NFL might not mean a whole lot because a lot of times you don't play every year, but if it's in your division, you do. And they finally got it done. That's Joe Burrow's first win over Cleveland in his program.
Wow. Wow.
Doesn't sound right, but it's real. And they had to battle and they got it done. Flip it over to Philadelphia. Cleveland game, not a lot of people felt great about it. Took the win, but we're still not felt a lot better having gone to New York last week, huh?
That's for sure.
Ran the heck out of the football. 269 yards rushing net, 70 yards passing net. That felt like a Power 4 college team jumping on someone not so good.
Right.
Because when you can establish that kind of will, where your quarterback only throws it 14 times in the NFL, that's unusual. You don't get many games like that. But it had to feel good for Philadelphia. It had to feel great, especially since you're down a left tackle in Mailata, but the offensive line still played well. And of course, Barkley is he's got incredible bounce and juice right now at the running back position. And AJ Brown is back. And that's a big deal because he's averaging 20 yards a catch. I'll throw it up there. He's going to go get it.
He's a freak.
Downfield.
Now, I have to ask, do you see more the way they jumped on that team? Is that an attribute to their offense or the Giants just kind of not having it?
I felt much more like it was Philadelphia.
Okay.
Because they want to run the football anyway. That's who
Right.
they are. The number 2 rushing team in the league behind Baltimore. So this is kind of what your personality is. And it became one of those days where not only are we able to do it early, let's stay with it. We don't have to get away from it. And sometimes I think that people who call plays, they have such a menu of plays, they almost want to show off just how much work they put into them. The best play callers I've ever seen have no ego. So if something's working, they stay with it until you stop it. If something's working, they can get back to it in a key situation. I think of Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, that great run they had to the first Super Bowl that he was head coach of, where they won Kansas City the first time.
Yep.
You remember that run, Lee? They didn't throw the ball 10 times in 2 playoff games before they got to the Super Bowl. Why? Because they were running the football. And he said, well, I don't need to change this. That's a great play caller. Someone recognize what's going on and what's happening. I felt like Kellen Moore was in that mode last weekend. Like, we don't need to do all this other stuff. This is working. Let's stay with it. And I thought it was a masterful call by him. And then the defense, last 2 weeks, the pass rush is back.
No touchdowns.
Right? No touchdowns given up, but people aren't able to run the ball as well. The Vic Fangio magic.
Woo, it's coming together.
It really is. Plus, you're seeing people that you may have had question marks about start to emerge. Kobe Dean, his last 2 ball games, double-digit tackles, sacks, the whole thing. He had a half a sack in his career up to the last couple of weeks. Nolan Smith, 2 straight games with sacks. Okay, Jalen Carter, 3 sacks in the last 2 ball games. Jordan Davis only played about 12 snaps, but he's going to hold down the middle for you. The Georgia gang is showing up for him in a big way. Then you throw in Slay out at the corner, who's battled through a knee injury to still play really, really well. And I really like the rookie, Quinyon Mitchell. I really like him.
Quinyon Mitchell. I mean, well, yeah.
Because he shows up and he's going to fight you every single play. All right. It's not too big for him. So I'm having fun watching these guys go about their business. And of course, you always fill in with guys that people don't expect. And Zach Bond from New Orleans, who never was a full-time starter with the Saints. He's a double-digit tackle guy, game in and game out for Philadelphia.
And I always love to hear you talk about DBs as a DB yourself. How about Cooper DeJean?
Well, look, we realized, and your dad and I worked together all those years, so I learned so many great things from him. We
Oh,
realized,
is one of them how not to rap?
oh no, 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 no. The rapping part is what I mean. It went viral. It went
Wait,
viral.
I will give you one guess. He's my regular guest on the show.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and obviously we're probably what, like 6 to 7 episodes in and he's rapping. What do you think the song was?
Rapper's delight.
Ding ding ding.
You got to go to your go-to.
Oh man. And he was acting like coy at first. I was like, you're just wasting our time right now. We know you're gonna sing at least
Go
3
ahead and do
verses,
it.
maybe twice. And yeah, so he's done that here. They're all familiar with it. But I
What I'm stunned by, Lee, is that the Sugar Hill Gang is not showing up at your doorstep and said, "Yo, man, let's go. We got a show. Let's go do it."
there's some things we can do.
All right. I mean, I can't. How they have not gotten together yet is beyond.
I honestly, I told my dad I would because he and my uncles will all sing it together whenever they're together. Maybe there's a microphone, maybe not. They're loud enough, they don't need that. But I told them that when I get married, they're allowed to have the floor. They can have the floor. So maybe I'll invite the Sugar Hill Gang to that. And the Sugar Balls?
You have to have that. That absolutely has to happen because unfortunately we don't have coach anymore. Your grandfather.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. We lost coach and we lost Mrs. Coach.
Yep.
It's so unfortunate they're both gone
Yep.
because if coach was around, that's not happening at your wedding.
No, it's not.
Coach is not letting them come up and rap at your wedding.
No, Coach Pop is putting his big old balls down on that. Absolutely not. And it would be for my benefit to make sure
Oh,
I
yeah.
wasn't embarrassed and himself.
Like, no. And
No.
that would have been the end of it. Coach would be
Wait,
like,
also, wait, that reminds me. You're also son of a coach, like my dad, teacher coach. And my dad told me a little interesting story recently that your dad is now taking up dancing.
yes, he's a tap dancer.
My dad did not say tap.
Yeah, he promised his mother years and years ago. She always said, you like dancing as a kid, you should go into tap, go into tap. And he had promised her he would, and unfortunately passed away. And he kept his promise to her. And
Oh,
he's been tapping since the 1990s now. And he does, Lee, he goes to a dance studio. They have recitals. So I don't know if you danced or anything like that when you were a kid.
yes.
But anyone who's listening or watching us, we all remember and probably still have to do it. You got to go to the recital, right? Whether it's your kid, your grandkid, your nephew or niece, whatever, right? And there's like 50 acts, and you're jammed in that auditorium, and there's no escaping. And we start with the teeny tiny ones doing the duck dance. Okay. More hairspray gets used for these things than ever before. If the environment goes, it's because of the recitals.
Facts.
And these, you start with the kids and you go up through, the middle school, the high school, the whole thing. My old man is dancing in these recitals. It was the wildest thing. And
Who does he have a partner? Is there like an older men group?
now typically he does a lot. He has a group that he taps with, and all of them are, my dad's 84, so they're all in that age range, tapping together. And then he will do his solos and the whole thing. And 2 years ago, he actually popped his Achilles tendon 3 days before the recital. And he was more disappointed about missing the recital than he was about popping his Achilles.
Stop.
And then he battled his way back this year and made the recital and the return in the recital. So it keeps him young. It keeps him going.
Wow.
He enjoys the heck out of it. I told him, don't stop, man.
That's amazing. Have you learned any?
Dance like you don't think anyone's watching you or something like that. That's my dad, And let me tell you something, Lee. The outfits are off the charts.
He does the outfits too?
Oh, he's got the outfits. I mean, you pick a color, he's got it. All right, you name it. It's kind of like watching, if you ever watch a Motown review and the Temptations or come across, and the outfits and the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I actually saw him do a penguin tap dance in a penguin outfit.
What does that mean?
It was a theme thing with something, and he did the penguin. He's in the penguin suit, so it's like he was a mascot in the penguin suit.
Oh my gosh, that's wild. I'm obsessed with that. I need video. I know you have video. I beg you to send me some
I'll
video.
supply. I'll supply you.
Thank you so much. I will get us back on track because I have so many more questions, but I can't take up all your time.
Well, we'll talk offline.
Thank God. Yeah, thank God. To me, it sounds like you with the Eagles, you're feeling as optimistic as a lot of us are. Is that
I,
safe
I
to
think
say?
I think they're trending in the right direction. I really do. I think things are starting to come together for them. Offensively, though, they've got to figure out what's going on third down. I mean,
Okay.
115 on third downs, it doesn't make sense with that talent group. And I do realize some of their third downs are actually used like, hey, if we get it in range, we'll go for it on fourth down. But I think you want to keep fourth down as much more of a I need to do this as opposed to it's part of my offense.
Okay. That makes
I
sense.
think that's kind of where
Yes.
on that one. For Cincinnati, what's interesting with them is they're having the same troubles on third down.
Mhm.
These teams are constructed similarly offensively because you're talking about for Philadelphia, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith.
Mhm.
Flipping over Cincinnati is Jamar Chase, T. Higgins.
Yeah.
That's where the ball's going to go. Lately, though, Devontae Smith hadn't seen the ball much. They only what, one catch in the last game for -2 yards, 4 catches in the last 2 games. That's not normal. See if they can get him going and activated again. Not sure if Dallas Goedert's going to be able to go with the hamstring, but how about Grant Calcaterra making a
Let's
little
go.
jump up there, huh? Hey,
Let's go. Let's go.
right? So that's working for them. Obviously, Barkley, and they really haven't unleashed him much in the passing game yet. And that's
Right.
another thing that he can do well. And I can hear fans now going, "Well, when we did, he dropped the ball against Atlanta. Otherwise, the game was done." Okay, I'll throw it to him another 100 times. He'll make that catch 100 times.
I'm with you.
That was an unfortunate deal, and it was the right call. That the game would have been done, the whole thing. And guess what, Lee? If that happens, and we're sitting here at 5-1, we're asking a lot less questions about
Uh,
this season.
and Philly's a lot more vibrant, a lot less booze. I also want to ask too, do you think it's just a fluke that the Eagles haven't scored in the first quarter yet?
I don't even I can't even touch that one. I don't know. I don't know because we run into some of these weird things that happen along the way.
It's so weird.
One of the weirder ones, and I know everyone says, "Oh, fast start! You got to come out with a fast start." Everybody wants a fast start.
Right.
Everybody wants to come out of the gate strong.
Right.
For whatever reason, right now, it's not happening. I don't know what they're doing, what they're not doing, but I know one thing that I've noticed that I like about them. They have not looked at that and said, we have to fix it. Meaning, yeah, you want to, but you're not coming out getting desperate about it. See, a lot of people, hey, we haven't scored the first goal. Well, we got to do something about that. Let's throw it deep on the first play. Let's run a double reverse on this one. Let's do something. No, keep running your stuff, figuring this thing out. The breakthrough will happen. It's kind of like a defensive guys, Lee, that you've heard talk about forever. Your dad was a defensive guy. Hey, if we get the first takeaway, they'll come in bunches, right?
You
They
just
were
need one. You just need one.
they were saying the same thing about rushing the passer, weren't they? Hey, once we get through on the sacks, they'll come in bunches. Well, 5 in Cleveland, 8 in New York last week. I mean, 5 versus Cleveland,
First.
8 in New York last week. They're coming in bunches.
Mm-hmm.
So I just figure once they crack the code on the first quarter,
We're good.
we're going to be okay. Yeah, they would believe me. They would like to as well. And I know it's a lot of words for really what I'm saying is I have no idea.
No one does, but we're not pressed on it, is what you're saying. Yeah.
I would not, the best part I've seen, they have not taken it, and all of a sudden we're seeing all these crazy exotic things trying to score points in the first quarter.
Okay. All right, real quick, what's your prediction for the game?
Well, I'm calling the game, so I can't predict it.
Mhm.
But here's what I think. Here's how I think it'll go down, though.
Okay, yes.
I do think that Philadelphia obviously wants to run the heck out of the football. Cincinnati's defensive front now has all of their guys back. So it'll be interesting to see how that gets tested and how Philadelphia goes. Because Philadelphia will like to stay with it longer than most people in running it. So don't expect if Cincinnati stones them in the first quarter, they totally get away from and throw it 50 times. That's not who Philadelphia is. The other part is going to be how's Vic Fangio going to defend those 2 receivers? Because the third receiver has not emerged yet for Cincinnati. All right. But they have a tight end named Mike Gesicki, a Pennsylvania kid.
Mm-hmm.
show those flashes. I wonder if he's going to say, I'm going to double Chase, I'm going to double Higgins, and let's see if you throw it to a third guy and he hurts me. And could that be Gesicki? So that'd be interesting to see how that part works out. I think all in all, both of these teams understand the last 2 wins are great, but they also know that who they are, their stature in the league, their expectations of themselves and in the league, where we're all thinking these are playoff teams, no ifs, ands, or buts. But those last 2 wins, okay, great. This is the one that tells the rest of the league, okay, one of these teams is really on the right track right now. That's the way I see it. I think you kind of reestablish your bona fides if Cincinnati beats Philadelphia or Philadelphia beats Cincinnati. Because now people go, that's a legit deal. You beat what we call a team that has that respect right now. Not that you don't respect Cleveland and the Giants, they're just not playing well right now.
No, makes sense. CD, thank you so much for being with us.
All
But
right.
thank you so much for making some time for us. It is always an elevated, better experience when we get to watch a game with you on the call. So I'm excited to watch you this weekend. And thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, and make sure you hug Dad and Mandy and Michael and my love to all of you. Okay.
You got it. I will tap on over to them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I
Thank you,
like
CD.
that. Good one.
Thank you.
All right, Liz. Talk to you later.